wana o lahai kona mau kahu. O makono, makono, o makono. E o mai kai he mai luna mai e. Ina mea una no eu na mele. Kai na Hawai'i o kai a kulie olu kamana o ha koukulana o nui lana kila aloha 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 amama wanua. You may be seated.
Aloha mai kako, lahui Hawai'i. Nunui ke aloha for everybody showing up here on America's Independence Day. However, we all know our Independence Day is November 28th. Eo? So before we start, I just wanted to introduce the cast members. And by the way, it's a great kuleana to portray the provisional government. But I just want to show some love for our cast members because they're all Hawaiian subjects. And they are very well know of our status as Hawaiian patriots and Hawaiian subjects of our country, the Hawaiian Kingdom. So I just wanted to introduce the cast members before we start. Standing in as Mo'i Wahine, Lili'u Kalani, is none other than Tita Nani Peterson. And then always Ku'e, as Joseph Navahi. Give it up for the one, the only, Mike Kalani Winchester, everybody. Oh, Kalamai. Kalamai. Kaulia Mahi. Sorry, Kawila. Kawila, raise your hand. Kalamai. W.R. Castle. Becca Garrison, everybody. Now remember these names now, okay? Because they're portraying historical, oppressors, traitors. Okay. Albert Francis Judd. Who is Albert Francis Judd? Because that was, oh, Keone DeFranco, everybody. Sanford B. Doe, Iwani John. John L. Stevens. John L. Stevens is Emmanuel. Wait, who's John L. Stevens? Oh, Ethan. Give it up. Francis Hatch, Uncle Henry Curtis. Lauren Thurston. Jamaica, Heoli Mele Kalani Osorio. Dr. Osorio. James G. Blaine, J.B. Castle, Rose Elovitz. John William Kalua, Imai Kalani Winchester. Show them love, everybody. Because it's not easy to be a cast member, especially for this historical place. So show them some aloha, please. All right. Oh, W.O. Smith. Who's W.O. Smith? Oh, I call him. I never have W.O. Smith on here, sorry. Dr. John Osorio, everybody. All right, so the cast members, please, you can head up to the steps. Mahalo. Oh, I call him my Pai Limayao, everybody, for the cast members. All right, Mount Kauko, everybody ready? All right. By the way, my name is Kauko Huahilani. I'll be the narrator today. And I just want to give a big nunui ke aloha to our reenactment manager right here, Emilia Kandaga, everybody give it up. And Ma, Auntie Lynette, Hilani, Cruz, everybody. All right, here we go. The Americans celebrate Independence Day on the 4th of July every year, commemorating the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the birth of the United States of America as an independent nation in 1776. In the Hawaiian Kingdom, July 4th marks the infamous day in 1894 when 18 months after the United States military aided a small group of insurgents in the illegal overthrow of our government. Those same insurgents declared themselves the Republic of Hawaii. Boo. Crowd participation. Boo. We observed July 4th, 1894 with a dramatic reenactment of events that occurred over a century ago at Iolani Palace. The theft of a nation.
On the 16th of January, 1893, the United States military sided with the annexationists, and on the 17th, provided all military support necessary for a handful of men to commit a coup d'etat against me and my fellow citizens. These men declared themselves the provisional government and gained the immediate recognition and promise of protection from the U.S. Minister Plenipotentiary to Hawaii. Declaring the constitutional government abrogated, they demanded that I surrender to them. At the threat of war against the United States of America, I yielded my authority to the United States of America. For a time, pending an investigation by the United States President of the interference by the United States military in the internal affairs of Hawaii. President Grover Cleveland's investigator, Minister James Blount, traveled to Hawaii, conducted his study, and reported to Cleveland, who in turn addressed both houses of the US Congress. Cleveland declared, by an act of war, committed with the participation of a diplomatic representative of the United States and without authority of Congress, the government of a free but friendly and confiding people has been overthrown. after the so-called provisional government had been recognized by Minister Stevens, I had referred in writing my case to United States. There was no more for me to do but retire in peace to my private residence, there to await the decisions of the United States government. This I did, and cautioned the leaders of my people to avoid riot or resistance, and to await tranquilly, as I was doing, the result of my appeal to the power to whom alone I had yielded my authority. It has been my endeavor in these recollections to avoid speaking evil of any person, unless absolutely demanded by the exigencies of my case before the public. At this time, men were going about town with firearms. Shots were at times flying above the city, whistling through the air, or penetrating houses to the great danger of the occupants. And no one was responsible for the local disorder. Words of harm towards my people had been openly spoken by the revolutionists. Spies were in my household and surrounded my house by day and by night. Spies were also stationed at the steps of the Congregational Church opposite my residence to take note of those who entered my gates, how long they remained, and when they were out. My respect for true religion prevents my stating the active part one of the preachers of God's word took in this espionage. It was under these circumstances that I prepared to visit Mr. Willis in accordance with his request.
In March of 1893, Kahui Hawai'i Aloha Aina, the Hawaiian Patriotic League, was formed by the Honorable Mr. Joseph Nawahi, together with other loyalist Hawaiians, to protect the independence of the Hawaiian Kingdom and the civil rights of its subjects. The women's branch and the men's branch of Hui Aloha Aina collected more than 21,000 signatures across the island protesting annexation of Hawaii to the United States. The Great Petition, also known as the Ku'e Petition, helped to defeat the last lawful attempt at annexing the Hawaiian Kingdom.
No kako ke hale e like me kāna kamehameha I kukulu ai. Ua ki paku ia e kako e ka poe I aia hele mai. A komo I loko ka hale kaulea la ko I mana ai e kukulu iho a o no aku ia kako I pau e komo aku. O ka oho I o lalo aku nei ia o ko e u mau hoa maka ainana mai noho kako a ai iki. The house of government belongs to us. Just as the Kamehamehas built it. But we were ousted by trespassers who entered our house. And who are now saying to us to reside in a lay stand, which they have set up, and are forcing us all to enter. I am telling you, my fellow citizens, we should not agree in the least. Would they live in a lay stand? Sha! Ole! 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 Ole!
Despite the enthusiasm the provisional government first received in the United States, the oligarchy failed to reach its goal. The Queen had succeeded in blocking annexation and generating serious doubts about the nature of the overthrow, but she failed in her attempt to reverse the situation and have the kingdom government restored. The Constitutional Convention will consist of 19 council members from the provisional government, as well as 18 delegates. A number of Native people are expected to attend, but not the Queen nor her many supporters. The Constitution has already been drafted and will make use of the laws in the American state of Mississippi to prevent the Native and Asian immigrant population from voting. Heva. It does also include new restrictions on the freedoms of speech and the press, and will not be put to the people for a vote. The stream of propaganda, the constant analysis of guns, the discussion of the Queen, all had to do with the small club of annexationists. There are many men who have traveled from Washington to attend the convention. They have corresponded for the past year or more and are rushing deliberations so they can celebrate. W.O. Smith, Attorney General of the Provisional Government, addresses the members.
Gentlemen, it is imperative on us to maintain ourselves as a coup d'etat government with as much veneer of democracy as possible. The problem is to combine our provisional government with as much of a representative form of government so as to meet the case.
Okay.
Mr. Thurston,
Hey,
gentlemen of the
Kalamai.
cabinet,
Sorry, I want to skip. I need to introduce everybody once again so you guys head up on the stage. Kalamayaw. The Honorable William O. Smith, Attorney General of Provisional Government, John Kamakavivola Osorio. The Honorable Lauren Thurston, Annexation Commissioner, Jamaica Heoli Mele Kalani Osorio. The Honorable Albert Francis Judd, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Keone DeFranco. The Honorable Sanford B. Doe, President of Provisional Government, Yewani John. The Honorable James G. Blaine, former U.S. Secretary of State under President Harrison, Rose Elovitz. The Honorable William R. Castle, Advisor to the Provisional Government, Becca Garrison. The Honorable John Levitt Stevens, Keone DeFranco. Oh, Easton. Hello, Mike. The Honorable Francis March Hatch, Vice President of the Provisional Government, Uncle Henry Curtis. And of course, Kawila Mahi as James Nabahi. Proceed, Dr. Osorio, Kalamayaw.
gentlemen, it is imperative on us to maintain ourselves as a coup d'etat with as much veneer of democracy as possible. The problem is to combine our provisional government with as much of a representative form of government so as to meet the case. Mr. Thurston, gentlemen of the cabinet, the lengths you will go to maintain control at the expense of democracy is insurmountable. It is my duty as Attorney General to keep us all on track if we are to meet our goals.
Lauren Thurston, designated as the lead, addresses the members aware that they have to improve their image and institutionalize their government.
At my office in Washington, I have had excellent assistance in drafting a constitution that will allow us to shed the title of the provisional government. In hundreds of ways, the mere image of having an office in DC works to our advantage. As I said in my letter to Dole, until the principles of government under which we live are definitely established, we are in a state of warfare with the Hawaiians, whether we are actually using gunpowder or not.
Gentlemen, as we talk about our long-term plan to hold on to power and being in a state of warfare with the Hawaiians, what are we doing about Liliuokalani? You know we cannot move forward without addressing those issues.
We realize the closeness of the tie that exists between the Hawaiians and Liliuokalani. She stands in the position of protector and mother to the people and would do anything in the world for them.
In light of the Congress's opposition to Cleveland's position, the Queen might be bought off. We can pay her $10,000 a year in return for her publicly relinquishing all claims to her throne. Gentlemen, barring that, we can ship the old lady off to Kauai.
We can't do that. This provisional government has already created an environment of fear. She is reported to have heard rumors that she was to be forcibly shipped away and killed.
Gentlemen, remember I have been with you from the beginning. Remember on January 17th, before a crowd in front of the executive building, I was there with you as the proclamation was read, deposing Queen Liliuokalani and establishing the provisional government of Hawaii.
Mr. Thurston, isn't this a plan for a no-nonsense government which puts down all opposition?
This is a radical departure from the Thomas Jefferson Declaration of Freedom Speech Clause, prohibiting anyone from advocating restoration of Queen. Really?
You omitted the usual trial by jury. Why?
Under our conditions, if a jury trial is requested in all cases, we may get into such conditions that all trials will be a farce. The President of the Republic should be empowered to suspend the writ of habeas corpus without consulting anyone, even the cabinet.
How do we elect the president? What about elections?
No elections. Under the current conditions, we are safe in putting off elections for office of president. I name Sanford Dole for president.
You are right. It is better to fight than to submit any questions about the form of the government to an election. Especially when you state that voting is only for Anglo-Saxons and Teuton descendants.
Yes, it is better to delay any real voting until annexation has been accomplished.
Gentlemen, whatever you may think, the name should have Republic in it. The Republic of Hawaii, it gives more character and distinctiveness than the Hawaiian Republic or similar names.
Gentlemen, I think we are finished with our business.
If we are able to have the swearing in at the same time as the American steamship blows its horn in celebration, we must adjourn.
The people of my country do not want to be annexed to the United States, nor do the people of the United States want annexation. If it is the work of 1,500 people, mostly Americans, who have settled in Hawaii. Of this number, those who are not native-born Americans are of American parentage. None of my people want the island annexed. The population of the islands is 109,000. Of this number, 40,000 are native Hawaiians. The rest are Americans, Germans, Portuguese, Japanese, Chinese, English, and a small proportion from other countries. The 1,500 Americans who are responsible for what was done today are running the affairs of the islands. 1,500 people are giving away my country.
On July 2nd, 1894, Joseph Navahi, president of the Hui Aloha Aina, and James K. Kaulia, head secretary of the Hui Aloha Aina, published in the Hawaiian language newspaper, Kaleo Kalahui, a notice.
Halavai maka aina na nui. Imua aina Hawaii. Maka pono o ko kako aina. Great meeting of the people. Forward, O Hawaiians, for the rights of your land. A great meeting of Maka Ainana will be held at Palace Square at 5 p.m. on this very day, July 2nd, 1894, to show our steadfastness in our patriotism. Aigiki aloha aina opelo. Hawaii's own lahui, as well as other ethnicities who are of the same mind, are invited to go in unity and show their insistence behind the resolution that will be passed at that time. Invited are the men, the women, the mahu, and all the young people of the Hui Aloha Aina, the Hawaiian Patriotic League, and all friends to go immediately with great enthusiasm and festivity to fill the meeting with the numbers of 20 and more thousand people. And provided the Marshal of the Provisional Government has approved our meeting, therefore, we have nothing to be concerned about. Let us, however, maintain the peace.
As reported in Kaleo Kalahui, nearly 7,000 people arrived that day. The newspaper, Hawaii Holomua, describes the scene on Palace Square where the crowd did solemnly protest against the proclamation of a republic, not representing the people, not established for the benefit of the masses, but virtually made for the sole benefit of the small and insignificant clique placed in power by John L. Stevens and American troops in controversy of justice, honor, and popular will. Mr. J.O. Carter, lifelong friend, confidant, and legal advisor to Queen Liliuokalani, read the resolution protesting against the so-called republic. John E. Bush, Joseph Navahi, and James Kaulia also spoke to the crowd and translated the resolution, which was, as reported, received with tremendous cheering by the Hawaiians.
Be it resolved that the Hui Aloha Aina and other patriotic leagues, together with the loyal subjects of the Hawaiian Kingdom, in mass meeting assembled, representing by far the greater majority of the legitimate voters of this country, do hereby most solemnly protest against the promulgation of a new constitution, formed without the consent and participation of the people. And we also protest against changing the form of government from the one under which we have lived peacefully and prosperously for many years. And that we maintain that the will of the majority of the legitimate voters of Hawaii should be the supreme power of the land. As such power is so recognized and accepted in all civilized countries and by all enlightened governments of the world.
Eight o'clock in the morning, skipping the prayer, W.O. Smith serves as master of ceremony and goes directly to the swearing in of Sanford B. Doe as President of the Republic of Hawaii.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mr. Sanford B. Dole.
Dole, looking down upon the crowd, proclaims the Republic of Hawaii as the sovereign authority over and throughout the Hawaiian Islands.
The movement for popular government, which has today reached such an important stage in this country, began in 1839 when Kauikeaoli, swayed by the light of the new civilization which was fast dawning upon his kingdom, surrendered his unlimited sovereign power and proclaimed to every man the rights of life, limb, liberty, freedom from oppression, the earnings of his hands, and the production of his mind. The progress of this cause from that day has been irresistible. There have been times indeed when it seems to slacken its pace and even to turn back on its course. But obstacles served only to give it a chance to gather its strength for a swifter advance. The Land Commission and the Great Mahele, by which the lands of the kingdom were divided between the people, the chiefs, the government, and the king. The constitutions of 1853, 1864, 1887, and the proclamation of January 17, 1893 are the milestones along the way. Today, as we pass through the Gate Beautiful into a new realm full of promise, of hope, and of boundless opportunity, we set upon another milestone, greater and grander than all that stand behind us. The end is not yet. The relaxing influences of peace are more demoralizing to patriotism than the stern and bracing dangers of war. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. There are still greater things to be done. There are achievements in free government, as yet unattained to be striven for. Responses to the fast-growing claim that the poor man, the weak man, the ignorant man shall be recognized in fact as well as in name in the body politic. There are new milestones to be set upon heights which are not yet to be gained. Let us see to it that our future is worthy of our past and of all the promise of this auspicious day, and that it shall grow there from as the tree grows from the sapling, that freedom shall never come to mean license in the vocabulary of the Republic, and that the spirit of traffic shall never invade the council chamber or the halls of legislation. And now, on behalf of the men who have carried this cause along and who have stood ready to defend it with their lives, on behalf of the women who have given it their prayers and their husbands and sons for the benefit and protection of all the people of this country, of whatever race or name, and in gratitude of God, whose hand has led us, I, Sanford B. Dole, President of the Provisional Government of the Hawaiian Islands, by virtue of the charge to be given by the Executive and Advisory Councils of the Provincial Government, and as the act dated July 3rd, 1894, proclaimed the Republic of Hawaii as the sovereign authority throughout the Hawaiian Islands from this time forth. And I declare the Constitution framed and adopted by the Constitutional Convention of 1894 to be the Constitution and the supreme law of the Republic of Hawaii, and by virtue of this Constitution, I now assume the office and authority of President thereof. God save the Republic!
Upon finishing his speech, Doe is given 3 rousing cheers. Thank you, Lahui, for those rousing cheers. To his right is John William Kalua, who translated the proclamation in Hawaiian to the crowd, which too is reportedly met with enthusiastic cheers. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Albert Francis Judd, now administers the oath of office to the President.
Mr. Stanford B. Dole, will you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
In the presence of Almighty God.
In the presence of Almighty God.
That I will support the Constitution.
That I will support the Constitution.
Laws and government of the Republic of Hawaii.
Laws and government of the Republic of Hawaii.
And will not.
Either
directly or indirectly. Encourage or assist.
In
the restoration or the establishment. Of a monarchical form of government. In the Hawaiian Islands. Congratulations, Mr. President.
The band plays Hawai'i Pono'i, while Sanford B. Dorr is sworn in as president of the self-declared Republic of Hawaii. All but drowning out the voice of the Chief Justice, after many handshakes and congratulations from the crowd, an announcement is made that those who wish can take an oath of allegiance to the new republic. 300 signed that morning. Later that evening, at a celebration of the 118th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of the Independence of the United States, Kahuku Plantation founder James B. Castle reads a speech prepared for the occasion by William Nevins Armstrong, the former Attorney General under King Kalakaua.
Americans, assemble here today amidst novel and serious events to make a new Declaration of Independence and of principles broader and wiser than the Declaration of 1776. To make the solemn declaration that the intelligent minority in every community have the inalienable right to good government, which they are justified in securing, holding themselves responsible only to God and their own consciences for the just and proper use of power in their hands. The heiau and the royal priesthood finally disappear as an organized force. The inexorable law of evolution withdraws the native from his long dominance and forces the American and his allies to the front with a demand for a new Declaration of Principles. The Anglo-Saxon and his allies, with the best thought of civilization behind them, and trained for the best use of political machinery, may demonstrate to the world that they can hold the supreme power, at first for the good of all, and gradually educate and lead the men of other races up to their own standards of good government, and finally and safely distribute that power among all races. We solemnly declare, with the experience of 100 years behind us, that minorities in number have the inalienable right to good government, and they are commissioned to secure and maintain it, holding themselves responsible to God and their own consciences for the just and proper use of the power organized and used to obtain it.
Time may wear off the feeling of emergency, but my dear flag may be in my heart forever.
Ahiki ke aloha aina hopeloa. At this time, this concludes our reenactment. So I was about a round of applause for our cast members. But before they leave, each and every one of our cast members will share manao of their participation in this historical event that went down the steps in our beloved Iolani Palace. Starting with our Mo'i Wahine, Nani Peterson. And then we can go down from Dr. Soros and to the cast members.
Hello, my kako. This is my second time doing this reenactment with this hui. And each time I feel the eha that has been in this presence.
Having the honor to play the Queen was hard. Because I just think about all that she's been through, all that she stood for our people. But I am honored to be a part of this and honored especially to play the part of the Queen, to show her aloha for us, for this Aina, and to allow us to, like I said, ho'olokai, come together, and especially this time now, in this world now, but especially for our space and our place, the only place that's Hawaii, our only Hawaii. Mahalo for being here. Mahalo, Emily. Mahalo, Anake and Annette. Mahalo to the cast. You guys played an awesome role. And I hope you guys all felt that, because I did. And all I want to say is, okay, ia kamana wa e ho'o mau kākou, e kamana o ho'o kahi, e ho'o mau no ke ola o kākou. This is a time now for us to come together as one and move forward as one. Ola kalahui Hawai'i, ola kākou a pau.
My name is Kawila Mahi. I had the honor of playing Joseph Nawahi Okolani Opu'u. Somebody that I look up to, somebody that I read about, their own words, their own speeches. Hopefully I embodied them a little bit today. It is an honor to participate in this reenactment and to be rousted and get energy from other cast members who were giving them. They was giving them. I almost believe you on it for a little bit. But I hope that you all remember some of these exchanges that we had, and remember some of the powerful words, whether they were good or bad, from these speeches that we were reenacting. And I hope all of you take the time to study what is Aloha Aina, what it means to be deeply committed to these lands, and to do anything to protect it and draw closer to each other. This is something that our kupuna did. Our kupuna were anti-American, and never forget it.
Mahalo. O Ioane, no kaleponi mai au, no hova i wahiwa, ma kukani loko. I'm Ioane. I grew up in California. I live in Kukani Loko, Wahiwa now with my family, and it's like the 4th time I've done this, and it just keeps getting more powerful, more special to work with these people and live in this truth and share this. And I just think that all this energy, this momentum, we are in a beautiful time, and I really appreciate it. I love you guys. Mahalo.
Aloha kako, o kiani ko inoa, no wilikini maiau, aka no auma waimanalo. Aloha, I'm Keone, the diaspora Oiwi, born in Virginia, pulled back by my naholo va'ohana to Waimanalo. But it's a true honor to be here. You know, I had the dishonor of playing the dishonorable Albert Francis Judd of the illegal Supreme Court. And I think it's important to say these words annually. You know, it struck me midway through this that these are the conversations happening right now in the White House and in Israel. These are the exact conversations that are being used to support and implement a genocide. This is the way that they think, and it's sick and it's twisted. And the way that we can remember that is by repeating their words and dishonoring them in this way. And just a last bit, you know, let us always reflect on the fact that our kupuna did mobilize quickly within a month to get the tens of thousands of names that are in the Kui petition successfully. Let us always reread those words and continue to only pa'akako.
Lamai kako, ovao kamakavivole ozoreo, and it's really a strange thing to play this role. William Smith wasn't just a designer of the Bannett Constitution. He wasn't just a member of that group that overthrew the government, or that tried to overthrow the government. He was also a player in designing the wills of several of the chiefs that wound up in having so much of those lands really dissipated to powerful and wealthy people, to his friends in government. He was a true criminal. And the thing about doing this play is it's a reminder when we see this language, just as you were saying. America doesn't change. America does not change. It doesn't get better. It doesn't progress. It doesn't do anything differently. It continues to suck up whatever it can suck up, and it doesn't really care who gets hurt in the process. This Lahui doesn't change either. And all of you being here today is just a reminder that we have a better path to the future. And our independence is what we should be working for.
Anai ke aloha kākou. Wau o I mai kalani Winchester he keiki he mamo a kakuhi hewa. Aloha everybody, welcome and thank you for coming and joining us here today. I serve an important and background role. And I'm always very excited and very humbled to see the multi-generational response to truth, to pono. And it's important as a teacher, inspired and surrounded by teachers here, that we continue to tell the story. We continue to frame the mo'olelo. But more importantly, that we continue to show up. More importantly, that we continue to respect and have aloha for the people. So take a look at to the left and to the right of you. Take a look at the ohanas who are here today. And say aloha. Say aloha aina. Mahalo for showing up, and we see you next year. This is a special month to celebrate Hawaiian independence. We're not here to celebrate American independence. We're here to remind and to restore to our people the truth of who we are and who we've always been, which is an independent and free Hawaii. So here, at the seat of government, we're here to remind ourselves. We're here to reconnect ourselves. We're here to ring through the hallways and through the valleys of this Aina that we have gone nowhere, that we are here and we're here forever. That Aloha Aina is forever. Aloha Aina defeated and saved Koho'olave. Aloha Aina saved Mauna Kea. Aloha Aina will take us home to our land one day. And so I'm here in gratitude for all of the members, to all the organizations that continue to show up and to remind our children, to remind our kupunas, to remind our leaders, to remind the future that we are here forever. Aloha kako.
Hey folks, my name is Rose Elevitz. I'm a Haole settler from Chumash Lands on Turtle Island. This is my first time getting to perform in Death of a Nation, and I'm just honored that I was invited to be up here and be on stage with all of these powerhouses. Super excited, and just to be able to really make these people the clowns that they are and show how stupid they are. Like, I just don't understand how people that are so stupid can have so much power. And so again, just honored to be here. And I'll pass the mic.
Aloha. I'm Henry Curtis. I get to play the racist Hatch for several years in a row. It's a difficult role, but I think it's really important that racism is shown to, and its evils are shown as it's happened then and is happening around the world now.
I'm Ifit, I'm from Wai'anae, and I had the honor of standing over there and being approached saying, hey, we need a Stevens, and I was a Stevens. I was Minister Stevens. Very glad to have been Stevens. I was reading this while the play was going on because it's my first time reading it, and it really struck me that like these guys are talking about like mechanisms. Like, it's very mechanical to them. Like, governance and order of society is a deeply mechanical and very, very material thing to them. They're interested in what is going to get them more money, in what is going to allow them to consolidate more wealth, to consolidate more properties, to continue exploiting labor, to continue exploiting the rest of the world. Because that's what happened. Hawaii was colonized, imperialized, to colonize and imperialize the rest of the Pacific. And as a Samoru Haole from Wai'anae, that's something that really resonates with me. You know, yeah, I was gonna start talking about the Marshallese and the Protestants, but yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Garrison. I'm a white settler, born and raised in Humboldt County. Those are the indigenous homelands of the Hupa, Karuk, Wiyat, Matol, and Yurok peoples. I want to thank Emily and all of the other organizers for inviting me and putting on this event. I really think this gave me it's heavy, and it gave me a moment to pause, to think about my own critical positionality as a settler, thinking about what is solidarity? How can we think about this historical violence, but also the colonial violences that continue into the contemporary moment? So I want to stand in solidarity with all of you, with this land, with this people, and I also want us to give a moment to think about other folks, like Chamorro, and Guahan, Boricua, all of the Borinquen too, other islands that are also under this oppression, and watching as Americans celebrate their independence on their own homelands. Thank you.
Aloha mai kākou, o wau no Jamaica, he oli mali kalani o Zorio, he kupono ka aina o Pa'alolo. You know, I'll be honest with you, I did not want to play Lauren Thurston. I'm still like a little mad that I was an annexationist. I'm really grateful to our comrades on stage, our Haole comrades in particular, who came up on the stage, made clowns of themselves and of these Haole annexationists so that we could reenact this moment, so that our people could stand and have the cathartic release of shaming us publicly. I think that's really powerful. So thank you folks for joining us, and for the Kanaka like myself who will now need lots of pakai and mouthwash. The last thing I'll say, I feel really blessed to have grown up in a home that knew that Lauren Thurston was the biggest jerk face to ever roam the planet. I'm grateful that today I got to teach my daughter about this jerk face, Lauren Thurston. But most of all, I am grateful that we are still here. And we are still here because of the grace of our queen. We are still here because of the labor of our hui aloha aina, na kane, na wahine, na mahu, ke kahi. And we are still here because all of you still believe in a different future, in a liberated future, in ea, and believe that that ea is tied to the ea of everyone on this planet. Down with all oppressors, end all occupations, down with settler colonialism. Mahalo kako.
Paipali Miyoko for our cast members, everybody. Right now, before I speak, I'm gonna call up our boss of this entire reenactment, Tita Emilia Kandagawa. Paipali Miyoko, everybody.
Aloha kako, everybody. My emotions are kind of pulled in multiple different directions. I'm really excited, and just the enthralling performance that was put on, but also a lot of grief. But everybody kind of said it already. I'm glad that we had all the kupunas holding it down with the audience participation and the cathartic release of that. Yes. And I'm glad that all of our cast members too took time to acknowledge all the other lands, all the other peoples in the world who are suffering under the same empire. And I just also want to acknowledge all of our folks who are tabling all the different organizations. Whether you have a table or not, you're just representing yourself or you're representing your organization. This is a huge coalition that's been building over the years and getting more momentum and more just more close to each other, I think, as things get worse and worse, unfortunately. But I want to acknowledge that you guys are here holding it down in solidarity. And I think this, for the future, and I just want to share, I think, in this particular script, which was originally written up through the research of Ton Kaufman in 2017. And if anybody out there actually wants to have a copy of the script, or if you want me to email it to you, you can just come get my email, send it to you. You guys can do this reenactment with your classrooms, with your families, with your friends, with your enemies. But this script, part of the reason why we want to illustrate what was actually said during that so-called constitutional convention is to highlight the racist logic of empire, that these are things that not only were said and thought, but that were extensively documented. They left a paper trail for their outrageousness. And I just want to acknowledge that while we have plenty of documentation of all the evils that were done, all the wrongs that were done, and while we gather in a space to grieve all of that, that we also acknowledge that there's extensive documentation of the resistance and of solidarity with the Hawaiian Kingdom all over the world, actually. And I want to share this one quote that I only just learned about a couple of weeks ago. You might find it fascinating if you've never heard it before. But actually a couple months, March of 1894, just a couple months before these provisional government guys declared the Republic of Hawaii, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, who was serving under Kalakaua actually at the time, he was a one-time foreign minister, but he served under Kalakaua, and his name escapes me at the moment. Celso Marino. He was an Italian. I did not know that. But he wrote a letter to Frederick Douglass. And Frederick Douglass, as most of you may know or be familiar with him, he was born enslaved and he freed himself. He was a brilliant man and an abolitionist. And so Frederick Douglass wrote a letter in response to the former Minister of Foreign Affairs to the Hawaiian Kingdom. He was made aware of the illegal overthrow of the government and the plight of the Queen. And part of his response, he wrote, "It is my opinion that the unwarrantable intermeddling of our citizens, if it were not for the unwarranted intermeddling of our citizens, Queen Liliuokalani would now be on the throne. The stories afloat intended to blacken the character of the Queen do not deceive me. The device is an old one and has been used with skill and effect ever since Caleb and Joshua saw the grapes of Canaan." And I think that's just one of many examples of Black newspapers in the United States and more all over the world of people who saw what was going on, saw it for what it was, and were in solidarity and were in protest in every corner of the world that they could. And we're all here today as a coalition because of the memory work of those people, that they never forgot and they never abandoned each other. And so here we are in that legacy, and I'm grateful to see all of you here today to embody that. I'm grateful for everyone who said yes to the call to be on this stage here.